So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us again to Monday night, our connection, our gathering. And we usually travel around downtown. So if you end up being in Monday around downtown, you can just reach out, let us know to join and to be part. I cannot show you. There's like so many beautiful people around here. You're missing out. But thank you for hosting us. Rachel and Barbara and Sophia, right? And for the assistance, that's helping. Thank you. And thank you for showing up every week on the Zoom. I know it's, some people from different countries. It's beautiful to see you. So this is, right after we spoke, if you remember the last few weeks, we spoke about Passover, which is a cosmic opportunity that we used for our increased spiritual capacity. That's what we're using these tools for. It's not simply just to celebrate a holiday just because of something happened. The same thing we're going to learn many, many times about the cosmic opportunities that are coming to us. And the one that comes to us, obviously, this week is the new moon of Taurus, starting Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. It's a 2-day connection, which at that time, we're going to do what we call Friday night dinner, a Shabbat dinner downtown in the gospel. Everybody's welcome to be part of. So in that day, we're going to increase our consciousness of what this month gift is about. But it's not a coincidence why it's falling in this week. So every week there's its own unique gift, standalone, because sometimes the new moon or a holiday fall in different weeks. So every week there's a standalone secrets, revelation that we want to understand or connect deeper. And the way we do it, we go into the ancient writing of Kabbalah. And obviously that helps us decipher many codes that have been given to us throughout thousands of years with the Torah, different writing, the Zohar, and so forth. And every Kabbalist throughout the centuries indicate that when you study from the writings of the Kabbalist in that particular week, the universe will allow you to reveal secrets that are available to grab, to hold, to use this week, this particular week. Now, every week, there's in every week portion or reading, there's endless secrets, but there's not enough people who reveal those secrets. Okay, so we are, first of all, you are allowing those secrets to be revealed as a listener, and myself sharing it. So it's a together connection, right? It's not just me sharing, I'm getting all the light and you get nothing, right? It has to be a shared experience. Okay, so one is that we allow it to happen, which means even if you're listening at home or you're here present, you always need to be attentive to what is being revealed to you. Whether if it's useful for you now or not, but the universe thinks that today you need to hear these messages. Whether if it's for today, for tomorrow, and for next week, who knows? But so listen to it in a way of like, I want to know why I have to hear what I have to hear this week. You guys, that makes sense? That's something that you can do every week or every day of your life. Sorry, my voice is a bit rough, but getting there. So this week, we're reading two separate portions, but we read them together this week. It's called Tazria and Metzora. Tazria is planting or igniting or starting, or mostly is planting. And Metzora is leprosy. I will explain to you the overall, the big picture of that, and then we're going to go into see what can I use it, because the writings that are available, the Torah that wrote, is 35 or more 100 years ago. What is it relative to me? More relative to me today is TikTok and Instagram. Can you, Moses, put some posts on TikTok? I'm sure you have many more followers, right? but apparently his Bible is the bestseller of all time. Nobody topped that, right? Since TikTok, nobody. So obviously, this is our today's TikTok, right? Those messages that we can learn and listen. That's why I don't want to cut short. Shorten the class. I already shorted from an hour to 40 minutes, but because of my friends pushing. But I really don't care if you're gonna listen 10 billion people or 5 people, as long as someone is listening and to understand. Imagine you have thousands who just heard that and did nothing about it, or 5 who listened to it and transformed their life. Obviously, we would like, again, you want the quality, the quantity, but that's not the goal, because the quality will bring quantity. Because once you go quantity, it's very hard to work on the quality of the product. Does that make sense to you? So once we have a quality of people, then you can load many, many more. That's what we need, a core, strong group of people who actually want to change the world with consciousness. That's what we're working on. So what is the consciousness that I want to receive today? Obviously, in Kabbalah, if you follow us for some time, you hear that sometimes I'm using numerical values, because the hidden energy of the words or the secrets is hide with the numbers. So the numbers allowing us to extract many more secrets that, as you look at things in face value, you cannot really understand it. Okay? So like any accountant, we look at a spreadsheet and he says, oh, this company is losing. I look at spreadsheet, I have no idea. I think it's like I see a lot of numbers. It seems like exciting, right? But it's not. If you look at it with the right eyes, you realize it's not what it means. So this is what is when you're following for a while and you realize, oh, now I'm changing the letter, the order of the letter. Because the value of the word is the same, you can switch the location. It doesn't change the essence, but change the connection to it. Okay? That's what we do. So once in a while, I'll explain to you more of the thing that's going on. So this week, when we hear the word Tazria, I would like to tell you the literal way of how it explained in this portion. And then I'm going to give you the Kabbalistic translation. You see the complete different understanding that thousands, and up until today, people who are reading the Bible and people that are following religion, they would never understand it if they don't have Kabbalah. There's no way. It's not written anywhere. So it says this portion style, Isha ki tazriya ve'yalda zachar. That's the way it starts. What is the translation? If a woman conceived first, she will bear a baby boy. If a man conceived first, she will have a baby girl. So now everybody would think, oh, if you want boys or girls, that's how it's going to happen, right? So woman will conceive first, I'm going to have a baby boy, right? That's not what it is. But it says literally, it speaks about it. So many people think that's what the Torah is teaching us to, if you want a girl, if you want a boy, that is beautiful, but not what we're talking about. And for that to explain to you, I need to go a little bit more extensive details just about that, and then we're going to get to consciousness. A woman and a man, it's not represented by a physical woman and a man in Kabbalah. In Kabbalah, obviously, if you don't have Kabbalah, you would think he talked about a man or a woman. Here he speaks about that each one of us have a male and a female energy. There are two conductors, that one conduct a sharing energy, one conduct a receiving energy. One is in charge of asking for more, one is in charge of doing more or influence more. Okay? So each one of us have to understand it's nothing to do with your gender or me or you or they, nothing to do with this. Absolutely. And so every time you hear that in Kabbalah, you have to remember it's not about the man, oh, this one speaks about man, speaks about no. It's the dominant energy within the individual. So that being said, now we understand that we're not talking about if the woman will conceive first, right? But the female aspect of the individual will conceive first, will bear a boy. Now, boy represents a male, which is what? And as you understand now, we have women represent the receiving energy, right? I want. The male represent the influence, giving more, sharing more, helping more, right? Being more. That's each one of us have it. The Kabbalists explain that when an individual awaken themselves first, he's going to have many blessings, a continuous blessings. Now you understand the code. If a person, doesn't matter man or woman, will awaken themselves for a change first, before, because what do you mean first? Most of us change only when it's so embarrassing already, or only when they throw us out of the house, or I get kicked out of the relationship, or the employees, everybody complain about you. You really need to make a difference, right? You really need to start working on yourself. That's when people, oh yeah, you know what? Nobody will marry me. No one will be hiring me. Nobody want to invest money with me. I need to change, right? That's majority of the people. So the person did not awaken first. Something externally happened to awaken them first. Does that make sense to everybody? So now you see that when we, and the energy of this week is to awaken yourself for a change before it's forced on you. Why? We know when a male is the results, right? What is a male? Zachar is the same numerical value as the word bracha, which is blessing. If you awaken yourself first to transform, to work on yourself, to share, to jump for an action, it's always going to be blessed. You're always going to be blessed. But if something need to trigger you, if something need to push you to do it, yes, you're going to have results, but it's going to be a finite result. That's the difference. So therefore, many people, sometimes, don't even know that every time they're waking up and making a change, let's say, for example, you're an alcoholic and you're married and, you come back drunk, and eventually whoever is there will tell you, hey, listen, don't come back home anymore. He says, okay, if I want to come back home, I need to stop drinking. Does that make sense to you? Right? So I stop drinking. There's no blessing there. There is an instant gratification. There's an instant result. Oh, now they're happy with me. Now I'm back at home. Don't mistakenly that you connected to a blessing. You connected to a very limited, temporary relief. So anytime we live our life this way, you end up with a temporary relief and never endless blessings and fulfillment. So this is the first gift. And the indication for that is if you look at the two words, tazria is conceiving or planting, right? But if you switch the letter, you get Ezra, Ezrati, which is my help, my assistant. Everything that you want to have in your life, which have an endless blessings. It's not a problem to get blessing from something or to be blessed with something in your life. But what guarantee a continuity there? No, there's no guarantee that the blessing will be there tomorrow. Therefore, each one of us is in charge of being the blessings by waking up first. Don't wait to anybody to tell you. Don't wait to anybody to show you. Only with my assistance, Ezrati, with my help. I wake up with my help, no matter what the level, by the way. It can be maybe not close to anybody effort, but it's in your level. I need my help. Everyone's help is good, but it's secondary. It has to be awaken yourself first. So now, when you speak about the next word called Metzora, I explained to you the significance of leprosy. Leprosy in today's world, I mean, you don't find many people are leopard, this way. But you find that there's a lot of skin diseases or allergies. You call it allergies, right? Back then, what happened? What is written? Metzora is someone who is have leprosy. So what happened? How does it work? So back in the desert, everybody was in tent every day. It's known to be that if, let's say today, God forbid, if somebody didn't have the right consciousness, wasn't working on themselves or was in the wrong consciousness, they would wake up the next day with leprosy, with disease on their skin. Now, you would think what? You would think it's, wow, that's very bad. Imagine, it's very bad. But no, that was a huge blessings. Huge blessings. Why? Because imagine, that the person didn't know that they were completely in the wrong, completely disconnected, right? So they will continue with their day. And then eventually a bigger chaos comes to knock them down. So leprosy was a sign that I wasn't in the right consciousness. And right away I would go, the person would go to the Kohen, to the priest. He said, look, this is what I've done yesterday. My consciousness wasn't in the right place. I did this, I gossip, I spoke bad, I blame, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. So, okay. Transform that, work on change, and then it's gone. The next day it's gone. A great idea. But what happened? It stops throughout the years. Why? Because a lot of people were disconnected. So everybody's like disconnected. Eventually, that didn't have the effect that it was. Because imagine, if somebody today have a wrong consciousness and tomorrow, they wake up with something on their skin. God forbid, So imagine everybody that know that, they say, oh, what was your consciousness, right? Look what happened to you. So you need to work on yourself. So everybody knows. So the embarrassment and the shame, right, was not helpful. Therefore, that tool is hidden. But that's the consciousness. Everybody understand? So first, that idea was a tool to allow us to work on ourselves, to find something wrong and change it. So now, as we speak, Metzora is a leopard, but it's a code. It says Motzi Ra. Motzi Ra is getting out. Motzi is to get out the evil. Ra is evil. Okay, it's getting out the evil within us. Okay, so the code for Metzora, for a leopard, it means to get out the evil from your system, right? So now he says, one of the Kabbalists' name is Baal Shem Tov. Yeah, water. It's for me? Okay, thank you. So, the vase. So one of the Kabbalists, one of my favorite Kabbalists, his name is Baal Shem Tov, and he says that part of, I won't say all of our work in this world, he says, כאשר אני מוציא רע מרעתו. What does it mean? Most people, when you want to learn from someone, who are you choosing to learn from? Many people have a choice. I like to learn from this, I like to learn this, I like to learn that, But he says that you want to achieve the level that you can learn from anything and anyone. Now, it's a saying that everybody says, but no. The Kabbalah says, no, not just from the good people. I want you to learn from the evil people, from the negative people. That's what you want. Why? Because you're taking the evil out from them. I don't want to take the evil that they have. So now there's a beautiful Kabbalistic tool that you need to use. Kabbalists explain, let's say you have someone in your life that behave, in an ego way or some kind of like selfish way, right? Or let's say, for example, your best friend, tells you, I have so much jealousy about my sister or my this or my that, right? Jealous. So you hearing that, it's your best friend, she have jealousy with her sister. And jealousy is not such a positive feeling, right? Anybody feel good with jealousy? It's creeping your mind. It's like it's bothering you all day long. So we want to get rid of it. Okay, that's the issue of that individual. But why me, I have my best friend, she have a jealousy issue. Why I need to hear it? For that reason. It says there is a law of unity. The law of unity says that all humans are connected, right? All humans are connected on a certain level, right? So because I have some kind of unity with my best friend, right? Therefore, if she have jealousy, in some level, I have that. Otherwise, it wouldn't come to my sphere. It wouldn't come to my ears. It wouldn't come to my life. I wouldn't even need to experience that. I wouldn't even know jealousy exists. But because I have a certain level inside, maybe it's hidden, maybe it's buried so well, but because I have a friend that's dealing with jealousy right now, I need to pause and say, wait a second. I'm using this Metzoa, Leotzi et hara, is, as the Kabbalists explain, because the unity that we have, there is an inclination of jealousy within me. So what am I doing? I'm not helping my friend overcome her jealousy. I'm working on my jealousy. I'm looking into, wait a second, where do I have jealousy in my life? Where was it triggered? Oh yeah, 5 years ago when I had a relationship, it was driving me nuts, but I got rid of them. But you didn't get rid of the jealousy. It's still there. The fact you got rid of the people doesn't mean the issue is not there. So therefore, that friend came back to trigger back a way for me to work. So you working on your jealousy, meaning transform it and change it. And by that, you're helping tremendously your friend with her issue without even her need to know. You understand? By the way, I have a little issue with the jealousy. I work on it so hard. Now you're free of that. That's not how we do it. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, you don't need to announce it. You have to detect it, recognize it, internalize that, and work on it. You see somebody with the anger issue, you see somebody with this, find an inclination that's connected to me and start working on it internally. Then you got the evil out of you and you help your friend because of the unity. You understand? It's a spiritual unity. So this is Tazriya Metzora, these two portions. Within my help, within my power, I can eliminate all evil from the world. That's the idea. So then, now let's go a little bit more about that idea that we, as I said before, when women conceive first, quickly into something important. The Kabbalists explain, when you plant seed in the ground. So think about, I take a very healthy apple seed, right? And what do? You bury it. What happened to the seed when you bury it? Everybody knows it's rotten. It has to be rotten in order for something to grow from that. I don't know. I hope I didn't. By the way, don't believe a thing I'm saying. Right? Go Google it. Okay. Everything I'm saying here, please, my friend, for those of you who don't know it the first time, don't ever believe me. Okay? Ever. Check, test, work for you, great. Maybe I'm lying to you, maybe not. Check it out. Okay? But if I follow what the Kabbalah says, and I'm absolutely 100% true about everything I'm saying, but not for you. Okay? You need to check it out. So he said the Kabbalist, דומה לזורע חיטה, when you plant the wheat or an apple, והחיטה אחר שנרכבה, and that seed has to be rotten in the soil, והצמיחה חיטים, and then a beautiful fruit, a beautiful flower can grow. But if the seed is not rotten, right, not breaking down, it cannot grow to something else or something better. So now we learn about that we have a female and a male aspect within us, right? We spoke about it earlier. So the Kabbalah says every single day you want to plant in the ground. Again, that's the metaphor, but I'll explain to you how it works. He says, שהאהבה עצמית, when I explain to you, you have to take the female. What is a female? What we call in Kabbalah, very simple. Desire to receive. And the male represent desire to influence, desire to share, desire to influence, right? Anybody wants to influence in this world? I'm sure at some point you wanted to impact this world with a product, with a service, with a good word, with a good video, with the art, with whatever it is, each one of us doing something so we can influence the world. Well, drink from the vase. Sorry.
It's the nicest one.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. So the Kabbalah says you have to look at these two energy levels that you have. Every single day, you have to bury the desire to receive, and from that you would have a new vessel of influence. That's what he says. Well, that's the metaphor. But what does it mean? He says, שהאהבה עצמית תהיה מאוסה בעיניו כזבל הארץ. First of all, again, it's important to put it in the right context because some of you are new and hearing it the first time. The love for yourself alone, אהבה עצמית, is I only love myself and I do things only for myself. That, if you're able to bury it, what do I mean bury it? Completely remove it from your system. Now the creator of this world will give you an access to the vessel of influence. Because think about it, a lot of people in the world, had I'm sure you probably know, someone that is very busy, right, doing things for the world, they don't have much time to be busy with themselves. I mean, very limited time. If you're doing something for the world of influence, or you have a big business with 20,000 employees, you get busy. You don't have time for yourself, right? And then people beat themselves up. I didn't have time for myself, and so forth. They call it workaholic. But that's in the physical world. We're talking here in the spiritual dimension. What is the work spiritually? As the Kabbalists explain, נמצא לפי זה, and we find, אם עבודת האדם היא במטרה לקבור באדמה את בחינת הרצון לקבל. If my goal, if the work that I'm doing is to completely bury the thoughts and the involvement of only self-love, so consumed with myself, bury it, because that's what you announce to the world. I need a new vessels that can influence bigger to this world. But every day, what you need to do as a result of it, just detach. Times are like, oh my God, I was so busy with myself in this conversation. Let's just detach. When you talk to people today, tomorrow, right? Recognize even after, sit down after and says, where was my mind? What was the conversation surrounded around? Me? Or tell me more about yourself. Tell me more how I can be of an assistance for you. Tell me more, what else can I pray for you? Or, I always tell this funny joke, these two people meet, and one is talking about themselves, right? Me. And then he says, you know what? Enough about me. Now you speak about me. So even if we let somebody else talk, is that so they can speak about how great we are, right? So, and again, without that transformation, it's very hard to get out of this miserable reality that is so consumed in such a small confine. Sometimes, that's what causing loneliness. That's what causing diseases. That's what causing mental issues, depression, all these spiritual diseases, that you don't see. That is from, if you don't transform working or even bearing is a metaphor, okay? It's not, again, you shouldn't suffocate yourself, right? But you should understand that you want to increase love to yourself so you can share with others, so you can love others, okay? So now, next idea. Next idea. The Kabbalists explain that what bring that what's called negat sarat, the idea of leprosy. What is the idea? He says, כל הנגעים אדם רואה, חוץ מנגעי עצמו. A person see all the problems in other people's life beside his own problem. We are greatly seeing how people are wrong and what's wrong in others and how bad they are and how miserable they are and how victim they are. But for ourselves, there's no way to see it. Even though you're saying to yourself, I'm pretty aware, pretty aware of myself. I've done it for so many years, work on myself. I did this retreat. I did this, I did that. If you didn't do it today, you already hide many other, because it's a constant. The fact that you've done it yesterday, you woke up today, you don't do work on yourself, you already will go backward. That's the rule. Many people think, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I went to the mountain. That doesn't mean that you've done or you're aware, because awareness is like a light switch. You've done the work last week, the light doesn't stay with you, right? It's like, imagine, but I pay electricity last month. Yeah, but you have to pay today in order to keep the light on. So yes, it's great to do like kickstarts of events, of ceremonies, of this, of that. Great, no problem. Come to this class, come to that, come to this. What do you do tomorrow? So let's say today you did something, you did an action, you listened to this, you overcome, you did whatever. You wake up tomorrow morning. Next step, more. That's the idea. That's what keeps you aware. So the Kabbalists explain that in order for us to be aware, it's very hard by ourselves. So what do we need to recognize? What is a tool that can help us? And he says this way. And this is the Kabbalistic way of seeing things. It's very inspiring for me, very inspiring. He says this way. כדי להכיר את הדבר, in order to understand or recognize something, צריכים בעיקר להתבונן לתכונות הרעות שבדבר. In order to understand something, you really need to see and observe the negative connotation of that, or the negative influence it has. מטעם כי כל רע המחויב לבוא לכלל קבלה לאדם, in order for, let's say, for example, somebody suffer from something negative in their life, negative relationship, negative business decision, negative, anything. Let's say, imagine you bought an apartment somewhere, and then you didn't know that it was like lunatics live in that building, right? Happened to you before. It's very scary. You never know. Or you open a business and then there's like a gang that's getting together every day there, right? So he says that it's very hard to see the negativity there. But what does he say? הרי מגיע לו בעונג. In order to bring negativity to someone, what do you mean negativity? Negativity is something that you can transform into light, darkness, a certain darkness. And I give you an example, it's gonna come to you clearly. So in order for anything that someone will take upon themselves a negative behavior, how does it start? It has to start with a pleasure. Listen to this. When was the last time? Maybe last summer, soon it's going to happen. You know when you get bitten by a mosquito? Right? How pleasure it is to scratch it. Can you just connect it for a second? So, the beginning, now you know better, right? You know better today that no matter how much you're going to itch, it's not going to pass. You tried it. Even if you bleed it, right? You went all the way until it's blood. So listen to this. Something that seems to be pleasure bring me into a negative place. It became a mole, it became infected, it became this, became that, and now I have skin doctor and it spread all over the body, right? And not just that, it's attracting many mosquitoes every day to you, right? So in order to bring you to something negative that you do, it has to start as a pleasure. For example, as a young kid, is it pleasure to eat sugar? Yes. Anybody didn't like sweet tooth and stuff like that? Sugar seems like, wow, so good, so good, so good. And then, boom, diabetic. Right? Boom, diabetic. How did it happen? I don't know. Oh, it's because inherited from your parents and this and that. Nonsense. Listen to this. Everything that is a pleasure in our life have a risk of attracting something negative as a result. Any pleasure. Like, is the pleasure to have a drink right now? It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You come back, and then people coming, and then you drink another one, then you drink another one. Then eventually that pleasure doesn't feel good the next day with the bombarding headache, yes or no? But at the moment it was pleasure. So now, why am I sharing that? Because many of us understand that pleasure, the word pleasure is oneg, ta'anug, oneg. If you switch the letter, there is within it the word nega, which is infected with negativity. Do you understand? Everything that is a pleasure, and that pleasure eventually is just serving us, it will turn into infected negativity or infected with negativity. It has to. Any pleasure. Take people, any pleasure that you can be beside pleasure for others. Make sure that pleasure for others, what do you mean pleasure? Make it joyful, make it good experience. Without giving yourself away. You don't have to give yourself away. You just need to think about, how can I influence more pleasure to this world, more joy to this world, more enjoyment into this world. Not for me, because for me it will transform into a complete infected, a negative infection. Very important to remember. So now, before you're about to engage, right, with any pleasure, ask yourself, is it just for me? Eventually, I want to bury it so I can use it, that ability. So, for example, I learned in the center, in my study in Kabbalah, when I always had that idea, but I never really understood what does it mean to host people. Therefore, I love coming every Monday to different houses because I'm learning how to host more and more, right? And also because I understood the pleasure in hosting people, so I always offering to others. And if you are a person who live around downtown, and you want to host, we want to give you that opportunity, right? Because the pleasure there is it's continuing for many moons from now. So this is another idea that you want to connect this week. And last thing, okay, just the last thing is, the Kabbalah says that if you have 1,000 people coming to study, one will stay, 999 people will leave, right? This is the ratio. So imagine you sitting here, you are one of 1,000 that actually left today's class so you can come. You understand the ratio, right? But what makes me sure that you're going to be staying, right, or connecting? Very simple. The Kabbalah says why? מפני שה-999 מוצאים סיפוק במציאת חן, מציאת חן בעיני הבריות. Because 999 people out of the 1,000 looking to be likable in the eyes of others. Only one, he says, have a real passion to be likable by the light of the Creator, meaning to be connected to the light of the Creator, the light of creation, the light of manifestation, light of influence, light of kindness, all that light. And he doesn't care what people think about him. So what caused a lot of what we call gossiping? Why do we gossip? Why do we talk bad about others? Because they didn't like us, or they didn't give us the attention that we wanted. Or, it's better being busy with what's happening in their life than in me, right? It's a big disease, by the way. When we focus in on what other people think about us, or what other people will say about us. What did they say? What did he say? I want to know. What did she say? What did he say? From where it come from? It's not a problem to know, but for why? Because I know, I want to know what they talk about me. It's everything we do. When you went and got dressed, what were you thinking? Who would look at me? How would I look with this? How would I look with that? I always joke about some people like a certain angle of the picture. You know what I'm saying? How I'm going to look in the camera, all kind of stuff like that. That's how people think. So one of the things that it does to people, obviously it's in the risk of you're going to start speaking bad, right? Because you're not going to get the recognition and the approval that you're looking for. That's a given. You might think that's going to happen. The second thing is you're completely disconnected from yourself. And just do things like a puppet. Oh, do they like me? Like a marionette, you know that, right? Oh, do they like me? Am I dancing nice? Am I doing something okay? And for that reason, anytime we're about to connect to something great, because of that reason, you won't be able to connect. You won't be able to retain and maintain a connection to it because you care what people think about you more than you really want to be likable with the energy, like attracts light, with the universal energy. Okay? So as of now, we're going to leave you with that. Also, my voice is very hard to continue, but I'm sure you're happy with the few points. And just to remind you, if you have friends and people, this coming Friday night, we have few more spots left in the Shabbat downtown in the gospel. So please get information or share with people that live in New York and want to be part of this awesome group. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the week.